difficult,
Yeah.
since it's contract time.
You have a certification of a quorum. This time, we join us in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic to stand one nation indivisible, with liberty and justice. Honor and faith to the flag, with allegiance to thee, one state, one indivisible.
Our head. Our Father in heaven, this evening we get together again here at City Council. Thank you for all of those who've come out to have input. Father, I pray that you just bless them with calmness as they speak whatever they want to speak, Father. This evening as we make decisions for this beautiful city, El Campo, Father, that we would each one of us, councilmen and as well as the staff, take it to heart and understand that you have put us in this position for this time, and that we would just rest upon your wisdom and your direction. I thank you for the beautiful weather. Pray that you would continue to bless us and bring us some rain. I think our farmers need that. Father, that you would just bless this town with abundance. You said that you will bless with abundance and that we don't expect any less. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
This time we have a special recognition proclaiming April 2026 Child Abuse and Sexual Assault Awareness Month. I do have a proclamation to read. Hello. I'll read it here, then we'll approach the podium. Okay. City of El Campo proclamation declaring April as Child Abuse Prevention and Awareness Month and Sexual Assault Awareness Month in the City of El Campo. The month of April signifies our commitment to supporting survivors of sexual assault and child abuse while encouraging strong criminal justice and civil system responses to end the epidemic of violence and abuse of our communities. Whereas violence and abuse remain a significant public health issue, but communities may thrive by establishing partnerships between survivors, social service organizations, law enforcement, government and civic agencies, and victim advocates. And whereas 1 in 3 women and 1 in 6 men will experience unwanted sexual experiences in their lifetime, and 1 in 6 boys and 1 in 4 girls will experience child abuse before the age of 18. And whereas abuse can have long-term damaging effects on the survivor that leave a mark on family, friends, and the community at large. And whereas each year the month of April is dedicated to recognizing survivors of sexual assault and child abuse while also providing prevention, awareness, education, and accessible resources. And whereas we dedicate ourselves to protecting vulnerable members of our community and encourage all citizens to learn more about the ongoing efforts in prevention and awareness, the Crisis Center and Department of Family and Protective Services asks the community to join in promoting public awareness and prevention throughout the month of April, including Start by Believing Day, April 1st, to support those who have been the victims of sexual violence. Go Blue Day, April the 3rd, Wear Blue to support awareness of child abuse. Light Up the Square in El Campo, April the 7th, to recognize survivors of our own communities. And Denim Day, April the 29th, Wear Denim in support of survivors of sexual violence. Now, therefore, I, Eugene Bustamante, Mayor of the City Council of the City of El Campo, do proclaim the month of April 2026 as Child Abuse and Sexual Assault Awareness Month in the City of El Campo, Texas. In official recognition whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of El Campo to be affixed this 23rd day of March 2026. And I'd like to present this to the Crisis Center. Well, we surely appreciate everything the Crisis Center does, so it's a big commitment, and we really appreciate everything. So, moving on to item number 5. This time, we will open a public hearing, SUP 2026-01, an application by City of El Campo for revocation of special use permit number 2-04, previously authorized by ordinance 2004-11, operate a fish packing and distribution facility for inactivity for a period exceeding 1 year at approximately 4.5770 acres of Mizell in Industrial Complex, Unit 2, Lot 2, Silver Streak Bass, general location 1205 Frank Stubbs Drive in El Campo, Texas 77437. This time we will close that hearing. Now we will be moving into public comments. This time I believe we have 3 that have signed up. If you would, when I call your name, approach the podium, state your name and your address, please. Mr. Mike Moss first.
Well, hello, Mayor, City Manager, council members. Thank you for having me today to speak to y'all. I'm Mike Moss, the proud owner of New Gulf, Texas, Texas Gulf Recycling. And hopefully everybody knows where New Gulf is, or it's outside of Bowling, Texas. I run the largest recycle facility almost in the state of Texas, not by basically massive amounts of waste that comes in, but by land mass. So I consist of almost 160 acres, and I process 90,000 wooden mats last year. Solar panels, we did 65,000. And basically on crushed concrete, we did 180,000 tons of recycled crushed concrete. So with saying all that is, I'm gonna ask, what are y'all doing with y'all's own city transfer station done? Any comments on that? Nobody knows nothing about it.
Well, we can't comment, sorry.
Okay, well, we're saying to those comments that, Houston is coming our way. And when you have Houston coming our way, we have a trash problem. And if I can do anything with that, I would love to help the city. I would love to help the community. Here in Wharton alone, I take all the county waste as it already is from all your county commissioners and everything else. They deliver it to me in roll-off dumpsters to our transfer station. We dispose of it properly or recyclable we can. From different job sites throughout the whole Wharton County, Matagorda County, and Fort Bend County area, we already take in tons of it to recycle it the proper way. With saying of that, I want to basically either purchase y'all's transfer station from the city or lease it. And by doing that or whatever, obviously we can work out a deal and, somebody's gonna, get a fringe benefit of it. But, I know that something's gonna happen, and when it does, I wanna make sure that the city of El Campo, I've been here all my life or whatever, was born at the little community center in Wharton, and say nothing, but when you wanted something good and something fancy, you came to El Campo, because that's where all the fancy things are in Wharton County. I hate to say that, but you know how it is. You know
how to
want something
butter
good
us
to
up.
eat, yeah. You want a nice place to go where you're gonna go to City El Campo, and y'all are the ones that say
That's
sway.
nice to
We'll
hear.
keep it that way. So,
Thank you.
that's my comment towards City of El Campo. Let me know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Maybe
it.
we'll be in touch.
All right, next one. Jim Jack? Yep.
Crazy Mayor, Campo, how are y'all today? I'm here just to follow up on RFP, talking about the waste collection services that we spoke about earlier on. I know in the previous meetings, we couldn't talk about it just because it was on agenda. So I'm here asking to put it on agenda soon. That way we can kind of navigate how we want to further through with everything. Let me see. And then if there would be a timeline that y'all are looking at, is it possible? Can we pull it off? How are y'all feeling towards opening up for different type of waste situations. So I'm here asking to put it on the agenda in the next coming meetings for the waste collection. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Ms. Kelman?
Evening, Mr. Mayor, Councilman, I'm back. Promise I'm not going to make a habit of this. I've lived here 15 years. It's just my second time before the council. But I'm still talking about AEP. You did good. Someone spoke to them, but they only move. Okay, you did good. And I want to thank all of you, because all of you are here because you care about El Campo and the community. But because they did move their stakes, I mean, very quickly, but only right across the street, going down Pecan Street on the other side, where currently there are no poles.
Yeah.
Now, we are a forward-thinking community. We're redoing our streets, our sidewalks, and this is an opportunity to start on the the infrastructure. I know the high school does not want more poles, but then they really would like for them to bury them, and they really should do that for the high school. It's a huge customer, and for our community. It makes it safer during storms. The aesthetics and property values, there's no reason why they should just do it the easy way, because they're going to get their money back anyway. And I know you all have the authority and the interest, and I would just ask you to keep going. I know that there's a better solution out there. Burying them is what I'm thinking, and I really appreciate your participation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kelman. Right. Item number 7. Approval for the consent agenda. Will City Council regular meeting, March 10th, 2026 at 6 p.m. minutes.
Mayor, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I second the motion.
We got a motion, a second. All in favor? Motion passes. Moving on to item number 8, consideration of and action on. Item number 1, ordinance 2026-07, revoking special use permit. Revoking special use permit number 20-04, previously authorized by ordinance 20-004-11 to operate a fish packing and distribution facility for inactivity for a period exceeding 1 year. Hereinafter described tract of parcel, land, line, and being situated at 1205 Frank Stubbs Drive, El Campo, Texas 77437, located within the city limits of the city of El Campo, Wharton County, Texas, being approximately 4.5770 acres of the Mizell Industrial Complex, Unit 2, Lot 2, which was Silver Streak, Bass.
All right, this will be shorter than that description. In your packet is the application report. You guys at your last meeting, for this particular location looked at the easement abandonment for future development. This is another step in the process for them for development. At this time, this particular parcel at 1205 Frank Stubbs is zoned as a special use permit for a fish packing facility that used to operate at this location. As you can see, this is one of the 2 parcels where you abandoned the easements between the 2. And this is in the industrial park, so it is surrounded by industrial properties with the exception of the land it backs up to from the highway. And then it was, again, previously operating under a special use permit. It was approved in 2004 and it was active until about 2024. So this project or this location has been acquired by Junior Smokehouse for development, and revocation of this SUP is part of that. So we are putting forth this application to revoke that SUP based on inactivity, to help move that project forward. This is eligible for approval and it is recommended for approval by your Planning and Zoning Commission at their last meeting. Are there any questions?
Mayor, I make a motion to approve ordinance 2026-07 as presented.
Second.
We got a motion and a second, for the approval of ordinance 2026-07 as presented. All in favor? Motion passes. Item number 2, Resolution R 2026-17, adopting a policy governing participation by El Campo EMS in emergency medical services deployment, establishing procedures for deployment, authorization, personnel rotation, financial accountability, and reimbursement compliance. Garrett?
All right. Good evening. So I put a lot in that council narrative, so I'm not going to go through it all. I'm just hit the high points of, we've been doing deployments in the past before, just very occasionally. We've done hurricanes in previous years, and this past year we've really tried to help out and step up more and help out in the statewide EMS community. With that, we were deployed to Kerrville a few times, and then the recent wildfires. So we just wanted to bring a policy to council to formally adopt like a rotation, showing that y'all approve of us going out on these deployments, and just outline our reimbursement practices, things like that. So just to give you an idea, if an ambulance, so it's not about the money, but obviously the money helps. We're doing it because it's the right thing to do to help the state. But the money, if an ambulance deploys for 2 weeks, we get around $22,000 just for the ambulance being deployed. If a command vehicle deploys for 2 weeks, it's about $5,000. And then we're reimbursed all the salaries, including the, say if I go, that we get reimbursed the salary I was supposed to already be paid here. So that's a savings in the budget, plus any overtime for any of our employees. And if we're taking a person off a truck, we're reimbursed for the backfill overtime, the OT portion of that. So not only their wage, but the OT portion. And we get reimbursed for all the hotels, and then the reimbursed for per diem for each employee every day. What questions you got? Yes, sir.
So this is going to be as big as Texas, right? It's not outside of Texas.
Very rarely, if there was like something massive like a New Orleans thing again. But we the New Orleans.
I did read it in its entirety, and it's okay to be about the money, as far as I'm concerned. However, I also think it led us to believe, or we understand, that somebody's going to be in charge of making sure that we have what we need here while these units are out,
Yes, sir.
and then vice versa. If we ever have a disaster here, then people will come in and they'll be paid. So where does this money come from? Does it come from the
state of Texas.
From the state of
So we
Texas.
submit our reimbursement to our local RAC at SETRAC. They submit it all to the state, and the state funnels it back to SETRAC to then pay
Okay.
us.
So I saw all the reasons why we should, and it looks good. Is there any reason why we shouldn't that you can think of?
Not unless we have staffing difficulties, which we wouldn't deploy then. And that's what we're currently doing. We recently deployed to the wildfires, and then we saw at week 2 and 3, we weren't going to be able to cover the backfill of those people, so we brought them back after a week instead. So the RACs, the state is very lenient on that and understands that your home base comes first. And if you say you need them back, they send them back. So it's not like we're stuck there.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Or we don't send them at all.
Yeah,
Right.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are your employees allowed to choose whether they do this or not?
Yes, this is completely voluntary. We won't make anybody go.
How are the reimbursements? I mean, who are we getting it from, and are they
He-
coming in time?
He
You
just
asked
said
for
that.
how timely are they? I'm practical, but you asked what the bad was. Getting money from the state is not always timely, so is there a
So unfortunately, it's like,
frame to getting reimbursed when these guys, we're paying them?
We are. We are already paying them what we should be reimbursed, so we're fronting it up front.
yes, unfortunately, it's like any other kind of grant type situation, which can take a while to go through all the processes. The latest one we have waiting payment now is from a September deployment of 25. But I've been told it's sitting on SETRAC's desk waiting on the comptroller to write the check, and I've been hounding them to write the check.
And I do think that until we see how quickly that turnaround is, we will be reluctant to send additional crews out to make sure that we protect the city's funds.
Mayor, I make a motion we approve resolution 2026-17 as presented.
Second?
We got a motion and a second on the floor to, okay, to approve, resolution R 2026-17.
Mayor, just a thought, if it doesn't work, if we're trying it, and it doesn't work out, or it costs us too much money, we're not getting the money back, we can always change it.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So that was gonna be my comment. I think Mr. Collins has a valid point. And so as long as, did you submit the invoice in September and you're still waiting on it?
Yes, sir.
I mean, you're getting unreasonable at this point, right?
Yeah, that's the one I'm worried about. We've had other ones from December and January we're just waiting on, but that's waiting on the state desk
Well,
now.
I mean, if you're submitting December, October, based upon what's going on currently with the September invoice. So just, you guys do your best to protect those funds. And I'm okay with helping. I think it's the right thing to do, but let's not get stretched.
Strung out and not get paid, not get reimbursed.
And I think a key part of this resolution is that it's city
Yeah.
manager, the buck stops there.
Right.
Yeah. For y'all to look at her and make sure and she gets to veto anything if it's not going right.
It's outlined in the policy that the final say resides here.
And unfortunately, you have something that's out there that's being controlled by the government or paid by the government. Unfortunately, they're going to hurt these programs and everyone helping one another if they don't pay up
Yeah.
in a timely manner.
Exactly.
So, like you said,
Yeah.
it would behoove them to pay on time.
Right, because we'll stop.
Yeah, that's right. And that's not good because it
Eight
stops people
months,
from helping each
2
other.
years, yeah.
Not good.
Any further discussion? Any further questions? We got a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor? Motion passes.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you, Karen.
Moving on to item number 3, Resolution R 2026-18, authorizing the construction of waterline improvements along East Jackson Street, authorizing the engagement of Ramrod Utilities LLC for said work in the amount of $283,269.17, authorizing the city manager to execute all necessary agreements.
Kind of sells itself. It fills all the necessities of a water system, fire control, public water quality, and redundancy on the delivery methods.
Well, what's most important is the next item, which is how you pay for it. So the next item, on the agenda is asking your approval for the CDC to fund this 100%.
Having this put in place will be able to leapfrog one of my grant projects and hopefully to get in the next year, 2027, which is a sidewalk on that side as well. Driveway, sidewalks, the whole thing, all the way to San Bishop.
Fighting.
Any questions?
Nope, no questions. Would anybody like to make a motion on Resolution R 2026-18?
Mayor, I move that we move forward with Resolution R 2026-18 as presented.
Do we add item number 4 to that resolution?
We,
Or do that separate?
That
Separate would be separate.
Okay.
Second.
We got a motion and a second on the floor. Questions?
Kevin, the bid process was through the system.
Interlocal purchasing, yes.
Any further questions?
Tips.
Texas Interlocal Purchasing System.
Interlocal, right?
Any further questions or concerns? All in favor? Motion passes. Thank y'all. And moving on to item number 4, approval of CDC funding, Project Big Red Infrastructure Construction Extension in the amount of $283,369.17.
Mayor and council, I'm back. Kevin and I discussed this at adding the fire hydrants and improving the water service on to the end of the city limits was a good thing while we were working on East Jackson. And I took it to the board at a call meeting on March 12th, and they unanimously approved 100% funding of this. The total for this and what we're doing for the first part of East Jackson from Wharton Street is $738,269.17.
Like to publicly thank the CDC.
Yes.
Their pleasure. Thank you. Any questions?
No questions, and, it's like Councilman said, thank y'all very much, CDC.
I pass that on today, and I'll pass it on again. Thank y'all.
So we need a motion for item number 4, approval of CDC funding.
Mayor, I make a motion to approve the CDC funding for the Project Big Red Infrastructure construction extension of $283,269.17.
Second.
Got a motion and a second? Any questions, any discussion?
I have a little bit of discussion. I'm not sure exactly where this water line is running or whatever, but a number of years ago, we widened our easement along Wharton Street where it hits Jackson Street so that we would have room. We made a trade with Fesco back then, so that we would have room to widen Wharton Street and move it away from that corner where it cuts so sharply into the edge of that building. And just the other day, I noticed that we had a new fire hydrant sitting there, what looks like a new fire hydrant, and a new utility pole sitting in the middle of that easement. And I'm thinking maybe we ought to be doing a little more planning right there, if this has any relationship with that.
It's not.
It's not.
No, and
on
we'll
that
be
side?
working through that with the North Wharton rebuild. They are looking at that intersection particularly. And water line will have to be done with that project.
So it doesn't tie in with this one?
No,
That's
sir.
fine. Just wondering.
I will tell you that the first part went from East Jackson at Wharton Street to Big Red Wrecker, and this part extends that to Sam Bishkin.
Mhm.
So all the way
On that side
from
of the
Wharton
street.
Street to Sam Bishkin. And just the fire support alone, I can't wait till it's done and I can talk to the business owners and find out what it's done for the insurance. Because I imagine having the fire hydrants in front of their properties is going to make a big difference as opposed to across the road.
It helps out the whole city, so, yeah. Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion passes.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Item number 5, discussion and consideration of possible action to appropriate $85,000 from the general fund balance for survey services associated with the drainage master plan.
Yeah, so we met with Scheibe. He's been working on our drainage master plan, or remember that is a grant-funded master plan, 90% funded by the grant, 10% by us. And when he went in to do the comprehensive master plan, we realized that part of it was left off. Is that correct? Am I representing? You may be able to speak to this.
Correct.
better than I
It incorporated mainly the Blue Creek side.
Right.
That drainage system for drainage master plan that incorporated that. Well, he found out that he could actually include the entirety of the city for an extra $85,000. And we're running into situations where we've got drainage problems that haven't been addressed because we don't have the data to have that. This gives us that data, not only visually, but also in numbers. So we'd be able to, once we have that drainage master plan, that's the leapfrog to the next getting grants.
Yeah, we'll have to have it for our grant opportunities. And we applied for $18 million in grants for drainage work a month and a half ago. This will be necessary to perform that work if we get the grant.
Yes.
So how does this tie in with all the work we're doing at the end of town and country subdivision?
It-
I read something about Myatt Lane and.
It's incorporating just to make sure that that data is updated.
We're sure that all that work they're doing there is gonna drain.
The engineers have said
Not
yes,
sure-
it
not
will.
trying to decide whether or not it's gonna drain now.
The engineers have said yes, it will.
I hope knows.
Yeah, I mean, nothing's going to stop a 24-inch rain in a 24-hour period, or 20-inch rain in a 24-hour period. But they've assured me the numbers look good for 100 years. It's designed for the 50-year, so it's going to do as good as it had done before. Just won't stand in the streets for 2 weeks.
But that That section was not included in in the.
It was not,
This approval would include that in there.
correct.
And that is why we're asking for it. It's,
For sure what we're doing now is gonna work.
Yes,
our engineers feel confident that it's gonna work. We have faith in these engineers. We worked with them
the numbers,
on a number of projects, including both Trespalashes projects, so over $20 million in grants with them.
Now, when they first built the West Loop, I think they had to come back afterwards and put in some bigger drains underneath it. As I remember, we had that monster rain, that 24 inches you're talking about, and water was coming right up to the top of the West Loop, and it was trying to flood everybody's houses to the east of it. But we got that fixed, and we're not worried about that now, are we?
I'm not on that side, no. And this one, there was no drainage culverts at all in that area. So this design put drainage, big double 42s, which are pretty substantial, and took all of that area to get it back to that same creek so that we could get it to the ditch.
So you're gonna try to go on to the west and get to the
Correct.
creek and head on out?
Correct. The headwaters.
We stated in here that this may come out of fund balance. That's worst case scenario. We are hoping that if we have a surplus in sales tax, then obviously this wouldn't affect your fund balance. And it's possible that this may take longer than this fiscal year. And so, is he thinking he's gonna get done by September 30th?
He does.
Okay, well then it will come out of this fiscal year.
Yeah.
So,
High resolution drone surveys for most of it, and then on the field for actual elevations and pipe materials and sizes.
I have a comment. I read a long time ago that success is when preparedness meets opportunity. And if I'm not mistaken, if we don't know where we're at, no one's ever going to help us go from that point because they don't even know where to start.
Absolutely.
That's the way I see that. So
This is part of the preparedness part.
right.
it might be worth mentioning too that when we were on the call with the state of Texas that's funding this grant, they asked about this drone work that he was performing and what drone he's using and if they could use that as a model for their own purchase and to utilize his technology.
And we're going to be able to utilize this drone footage for more than just drainage. What we found out that the resolutions were so clear, you could zoom in and read the manhole covers. That's from 300 foot up. That will give us the opportunity to locate lost meters. It would give us the opportunity to locate water valves, locate proper edges of curbs, stuff like that.
Does this need to come to council, or can you do this?
I can do it, but I put it on the agenda because it may come out of fund balance and I wanted to prepare you for that.
Do it. No, it's not an action.
Well,
It's not an action.
I will be taking it back at a budget amendment. You can make it, or she will be later this fiscal year. And at that time, we'll tell you where the funds come from.
All right, moving on to item number 6, discussion of underground electric utility.
This, well, this is not my item, and this is Mr. Hancock's item. He reached out to us in the proper protocol about putting this agenda item on there. And as you can see, Ms. Kelman came up here and wanted to talk to us. And I have had the conversation with AEP. She came and spoke with me last Wednesday or Thursday about underground power and what it would take to get there. And she said, it's real simple. We'll be happy to do it. You just have to pay for it. And so that's how that works. And in our research, that little bit of research we've done, we found that yes, cities can absolutely require it, but the law states, and in court cases, the cities are the ones footing the bill if you're demanding it. So this is something we could do, but we'll need to budget for it. And we do have, I included in your packet the franchise agreements for both WCEC and AEP. We have not talked to WCEC. So the AEP contract is up in 2033, and the WCEC contract is up in 2031, just so you know, in case we were, in those franchise agreements, that's where you would stipulate what would happen. But, and so if you wanted to, you could start putting away that franchise fee towards this. I will warn you that franchise fee is used to fund your general fund operations. And so diverting that money over would definitely be a policy decision that you'd have to shift how you fund things to do that. I'm not advising you on that at this time at all. I'm just making you aware of the fact that if that money is diverted over to replacing lines, obviously you'd have to fill it in with some other revenue source, and that would more than likely be property taxes. Or you'd have to cut something in the operating budget. But on our side, that's the work we've done, Mr. Hancock. I think, was it you that handed this out?
I did.
Yeah, and I absolutely put this on here for your sake, Mr. Hancock.
Okay. Let me just read this for the purpose, it's just one page, double space for the purpose of everybody in the audience. And what I've said was, many cities today are moving toward requiring new utility lines to be placed underground. In some cases, they are even adopting long-term plans to gradually bury existing infrastructure. This isn't just about aesthetics, though that certainly matters. It's also about improving reliability and making the communities more resistant to storms. Our current agreement with American Electric Power expires in about 7 years. However, that agreement includes provisions that allows for a discussion of reasonable concerns. So the question is, why not begin that conversation now? Starting early gives everybody, especially AEP, the opportunity to plan ahead, adapt, and avoid more difficult negotiations later. It's simply easier to make thoughtful, incremental changes now than force major changes all at once on down the road. We're already seeing examples of this locally. New developments are voluntarily choosing to bury their lines. Projects like the Fairway subdivision, new construction along South Street where they've built all those houses and all those nice apartments out on the loop out there, and other recent developments show that this is both feasible and desirable. It raises the question, should underground utilities become a requirement as part of our permitting process for new subdivisions and things of that nature? And if we're not already requiring it in places like the Frankie Street subdivision, perhaps we should be asking ourselves, why not? Ultimately, this is about defining what we want El Campo to look like in the future. Do we want to continue with overhead lines as the default, or do we want to move towards a cleaner, more resilient, and more modern infrastructure? I would encourage us to look at what other forward-thinking cities are doing and evaluate these approaches and begin shaping a long-term plan that reflects our goals as a community. I'd appreciate hearing everybody on the council's thoughts about this, either right now or in other conversations, but there are a lot of cities that require new construction to be put underground.
Mr. Hancock, we are one of them.
What?
We are one of them. It is in your design manual that your new
It is?
construction has to
Okay,
be
that's good
underground.
to know. I wasn't sure.
Yes.
And I didn't know, like on Frankie Street, for instance, if we could permit, we approved a plat of that. And when we approve a plat of that, do we require a plan for their utilities to be placed underground? Because AEP told me that they're gonna start building houses right along Frankie Street and cross the street for every house to wire it up instead of going
Kevin, was that just
back
for big
behind the lots.
subdivisions? It was just for the larger subdivisions,
And if you-
not for small sections, right, Crystal?
If you look at even older subdivisions in town, if you look at Henderson Edition, which is the one right west of the high school that was put in back in the early 50s, all those power lines were put in alleyways behind the lots.
You're right.
And a lot of other places around town were built that way. And it seems like we're seeing a lot of stuff lately where people just say, well, we don't want to put those power lines back behind all the new buildings. We'll just put them down the street. We're seeing that same thing over on Pecan Street right now, where they want to go down the street instead of using their old alleyways. For some reason, we can't quite figure out why, but AEP is very nice about talking to me about it and meeting me out there and talking to me about alternate ways they could just as easily power that new high school construction. But as I say, you look at the Fairway subdivision, you look at even what Quattro did out in his mobile home park, puts all those utilities underground. It's not unusual for cities these days to require that. I'm glad to know we have some requirements like that
It's
too.
for the larger developments, I guess. Yeah.
Currently.
And, so I think it might behoove us just to look at what other cities are requiring and try to, see what fits for us. And my thought is, this is a long-term kind of a thing. You might tell AEP and other utilities, we'll give you 30 years to bury everything, do 3% a year. That's not something that's gonna burden them tremendously. And, ultimately, long-term, it'd be a better situation, I think, for our community. And, I'm not asking us to make a decision tonight, but I'd like for us to keep thinking about it and try to be, progressive on this and just take a look at what the possibilities are and what we might be able to do. And so I bring it up just as a discussion point, and I hope everybody will just give it some thought. We can talk about it again some other time. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hancock. Appreciate your input there. It is a good idea, and hopefully we can move forward on there and get it done right. Moving on to item number 7, keep El Campo Beautiful Board appointments.
You have one application, is that correct? From Teresa Avenger, who serves on your Board of Adjustments. Need a motion?
Yeah,
Do you?
unless they have somebody else.
They just,
Well, they can nominate anybody or
Yeah.
name somebody, just figure out how you're gonna vote on it.
I don't think we got any other,
don't.
so I'd like to see us, go ahead and, approve this appointment here. And,
Mayor, I move to nominate Teresa Avenger.
Second.
to-
Second that motion.
we got a motion and a second, to add, Ms. Avenger, right?
Mhm.
Teresa, to keep El Campo Beautiful Board. So, it's a new appointment. All in favor? Motion passes. Thank you.
We'll see some of you on Friday at noon. It will be a very brief
Noon?
meeting.
Okay.
Yes, sir. It will be a very brief, I promise, brief meeting with lunch.
This meeting is adjourned.
Better have fish.
Well, there's not all Catholics on this. Fajitas probably, and then some fish